Hello YouTube, this is Chase for Soul. Today we'll be talking about a team that I've been working on for a little bit. You can kind of consider is this the ultimate defense? Like, is this the best team to put in guild battle? This is not PvP related. I would not throw out this team in like a manual PvP setting necessarily, but I'm looking at kind of like, hey, what kind of defense should I run that is a catch-all? Because that is the point of guild battles, is you're trying to find a team that will do the job against anyone, and I think I found a team that might work pretty well. So let's get into that. So how does this team work? It requires Yuna, it requires Warrior Light, and it requires King Mont. I will send a link. I have this saved for you guys, so then you can use it. So you'll see here that it's not very high attack and magic. That's actually pretty low, especially for a team that's, that can get up pretty high, and there's a good reason for that. So how do we set this up? We're going to do our usual. You put your Kadadama wielder, you put your Spellblade, or people do Warrior Light sometimes, but we're going to do Spellblade for magic resistance, and we're going to do Nightblade for King Mont. Just assume everything is maxed. So what is kind of the makeup here? You have your Yuna, who's going to be technically your carry. She's going to be doing the most damage out of everybody, but she's not going to be getting hit. That is kind of the point of this group, is that you have two tanks. And these two tanks generate hate. And when they generate hate, they're going to pretty much prevent Yuna from getting damaged. And you're going to see that here, that like with their items, they have AoE resistance. They have the Luminous Armlet, I believe it's called, the one that gives dark resistance. And then he has a little bit of speed with his with the Ayaka boots. And then you also have it on King Mon as well, but the difference is that we're adding a little bit of unit resistance. So the theme of this group is to be very AoE / unit resistant, and then also have a lot of defense and spirit. So like, it's a team that just heavily gets put into defense and spirit, and you're going to see that. Finally, for the other espers, Warrior Light is really slow, so you have to concede a little bit here, and you have to give him a esper that's going to allow him to actually get into the battle quickly, along with a vision card to do that as well. And we can do that with both Fenrir and Odin. Odin has 20 speed, Fenrir has 4 agility as well. So like, these are really good cards to put on him, because then he actually gets into an agility space that's actually reasonable. And so let's take a look at kind of like what happens by putting all these values in. So if we take a look at Warrior of Light, he has now defense, native defense against dark units. So that's really important, especially when we're going to be looking at fighting against Helenas. Because that's kind of like why I built this team, is like, how do you deal with Helenas who just do a shit ton of damage and not just throw in Rain? Because, Rain's kind of slow, maybe not the best unit out there, but still a good unit. He has 60 slash resistance. This is coming from Odin, and this is coming from his natural resistance, and then it's also coming from the vision card Solidus. So he's going to be really high there. He has 37 magic resistance, and then that can go up to almost 70, or maybe even past 70, when he uses his magic resistance move. I can't forget the name. It's a Spellblade subjot ability. You should probably know it though. And then you also have King Ma. He has 45. He has 20 magic resistance. He's pretty resistant to almost everything except Fist. But we're not really going to care about Fist too much, because you'll see here, even for both of them, they have ridiculously high defense. So they're going to be able to take those attacks. And just one little added note here, you'll notice that I have King Mon under Nightblade Mastery. This is because he needs that accuracy. Part of the kit with King Mont is that he needs to be able to bring down resistances, because if you don't, then your team isn't really doing damage, and you kind of need that, especially when you have people who are just not equipped with very high damage equipment, such as the Sword of Light or the Flame Tongue. So that's kind of like how I would set it up. As for like the espers and stuff like that, I will note I won't have this esper when we go into the fight, but I will do something very similar with Omega, is that you're bringing in the water resistance and you're bringing in defense and then fire attack. So then now he actually has a little bit of firepower when going into battle. So this is why I think this is his best esper with King Mont. But I will be doing something very similar with Omega to see that you can do it with other stuff. You don't have to have all these items. It's just to give you an idea that, like, hey, I throw these items on, I play around with it a little bit, and then I can create a team that is AoE resistant, forcing unit attacks, and then forcing not to do a lot of damage, and then allowing your unit to get into battle and just finish everyone off. Okay, so let's go into that. Okay, so we're going to go into mock battle. I have my team set up. We'll take a look at it before we start. But I'm basically using the same setup that I showed earlier. The only difference is that I am using Omega. Omega is spec'd into magic resistance, as well as Bahamut is spec'd into magic resistance. So now he will have a little bit more magic resistance over defense. So it actually works well for people like Black Rose Helena, and we're going to see that here. So let's take a look. So we're going to fight firstly against Thane Drake's team. He has a pretty meta setup, and we'll see how that goes. So again, the goal of this team isn't to necessarily win. We might win in the end, but the goal of the team is to make them waste their AP and make them waste their abilities. Because by doing that, you've prevented them from going to their next match with any reasonable ability to do anything else. And why we want to do that is because when we're going into these guild battles, most of the time people, they get their matches, they win, and they get 100% of the battles won. In this case, though, we're trying to create some teams within the conflict. Let's say 25% of your guilds, 25% of them to be able to do this. Because by doing this, you now have forced them to basically be unable to do their next match. So see, we can see here we're actually doing really well against Black Rose Helena. Yuna is very good at just destroying the dark units. Yep, so she's doing a lot of damage as it is, and we're not even maximizing her attack power. It's mostly defensive. Okay, here comes Energy Ray. Let's see how this does. Yeah, so this is the whole point of the team. It's very magic resistant, very slash resistant. They're just going to be able to take down the team without any issues. And then this is going to allow your defense to hang on and do multiple battles. Okay, so let's take a look at another meta team and see how that goes. So we'll just do another one. So we're going to play against this team. This team might be very close to a very meta team you might face, along with King Mont and Yuna. So that's a team that is very, very resistant, and it does a lot of damage. So let's see how this team does against them.
Fight to the very end. Darkness is my strength. It's my blade. I will fight to the very end.
So their team is set up pretty standardly. We're going to be attacking King Mont quite a bit. King Mont's going to take a lot of slash resistant damage. His team is pretty much slash resistant, so it's actually very hard to get through their defense. You can see I'm only doing 752, but we're going to see what happens in a second here. How we do. Okay, so maiming slash doesn't do anything. Great, that's what we wanted. Fang of Leonis, we got lucky with the disable. We did not one-shot the, so that would be bad. The good news is, I believe, oh, he can remove re-raise. Alright, let's see how this team does despite that. That was very unfortunate. But I guess we can say, like, if we got the disable, you know, they can have the Yuna. Let's see how that goes, though. Okay, not doing a lot of damage. Okay, we were able to take down the Dwayne. Ooh, they got full life though.
Lending me a hand, are you? You will receive no mercy.
But we can see here that we're probably going to lose this at this rate, in all honesty. But we can see here that they're lasting a long time even without Yuna. And so by lasting outside of without Yuna, like we could see that this team is going to last on defense. Oh, good. Okay, we took out Yuna. Did they have re-raise? Yes, they did. Of course they did. Okay, they're gonna do energy ray. How's this gonna do? Okay, we're still surviving. They're gonna do a lot of damage with this guy. Okay, and there's our death. But we can kind of take a look at how much this team has left now. So 4 AP. So he's not going to start off well. Most of Yuna's abilities have been taken out, and he had bells, and he only has 54 AP left. So he was really hurting on how many attacks he had to use. Let's go and take a look at his abilities to see how much they have left. Because the point of the team, like I said, wasn't to win every single battle. The point of the team was, did we do enough to prevent them from using their best moves? And we kind of did. We took out Magic and Infuse. What else did we take out? He took out one Rising Twilight. We took out Revitalize. Like this, he's already running out of moves. As for Yuna, no more re-raise, no more cure, no more full life, no more energy ray, no more smile. Like, we really destroyed this team's ability to move further. She still has some good moves, but these moves are not as important as the fact that we took out the things that matter with Yuna and her toolkit. As for his abilities, he did get disabled, so he probably has most of his abilities left. Yeah. But he only has 4 AP. He's going to only get about 1 buff turn to get in. So he's not going to really have that much AP to do really anything against your team. So that actually turned out pretty well as well. Okay, let's do this now. Let's see how we do just basically doing multiple defenses. We'll start off with some other teams. We will go against Super Bloop. I think Super Bloop's team is an interesting one because it's not a meta team, but it has a lot of like anti-meta tactics. to compete. So they have like very high magic attack. They have a very good magic resistant character, and they have Titus. Having Titus is always the scariest thing that you're going to see in teams. So let's try this out.
What an interesting foe.
This should be interesting.
Knowledge is power.
So we're going to see here they have a lot of defense. So we got to really try to break through that. He only did 1,000 damage. So that's good. When a Titus only does about 1,000 damage, you're doing pretty well. And for them to only do 2,000 there, that's still really good because she hits really, really hard. We'll survive this. Everyone survives his attack, so he's not there for damage. Okay, we're going to get some slash resistance down. We're going to be able to kill the Titus.
Justice predicted.
Takes more than that.
Our team is still surviving. Okay, we're not going to do a lot of damage to him, but that's fine. The point is that, you know, we brought the hate. Okay, see, we've re-added the hate. So, like, you can see why this team is so good at being a wall. We got the heal. Now we're doing some slash attacks. We're going to get another heal. Yeah, he's going to survive that, so he just has that much defenses against magic attacks. Okay, so we got that. And we've killed the ring. Okay, so let's see if we can continue the defenses. So now we're trying to see, can this team last? You know, we've used our re-raise, we use our revitalize. Now, how do we do now that you know, the first team has, or we've already fought the first team? So let's go against Thane Drake's team again, or let's pick a different team this time. I think this is a good meta team. This has Titus, this has Runestern, and it has Black Rose Helena. Let's see how we do against this team. So now we have the hate up, we're going in great. We got more hate. Like, this is how we want to start. Because based on how they're setting up now, they're going to go and straight attack us. Specifically our hate units. So you can see they're not doing a lot of damage. Even with the dark chain, it was not that much. And then you can kind of see that it keeps your unit perfectly safe, and that's what we're trying to do. We want our unit to not get attacked that often, but we did add spirit resistance, and we also added a little bit of dark resistance. That actually missed. We got really lucky there, but it would not have killed her. Okay, and you can still see our team is actually pretty healthy. They'll get some heals as they go through. People like Warrior of Light, you know, has Breath of Life too. So with Breath of Life, you know, he'll go into the battle if he's ever under half health and continue on. I don't think we were able to do any more attacks, yeah. It would be nice to kind of see how our defense would do. But hopefully this kind of helps. Like I said with this team, there's a lot of variety that you can add. Like I said, I didn't have Phoenix, but I used Omega. And Omega is a really good card, Esper, for these type of battles. Especially with the magic resistance. And then by boosting up Warrior Light's speed, that allows you to get into battle more easily, which is what Warrior Light needs compared to Mon as a tank. Like, it's actually pretty comparable, 94 and I believe it was 85. Yeah, like now it's not some ridiculous value. like in the 60s or 70s. Like she's able to now keep up with people like Yuna and King Mont. All right, thank you, YouTube. Hope this helps somehow for your teams and maybe give you some ideas for your defenses. And have a nice rest of your day.